It's May 23rd, 2012 as I'm filming this, and there are only 12 full days left as I'm filming this until Nintendo's E3 2012 presentation. I've been thinking for weeks, maybe even months, how I'm going to do my E3 predictions video for Nintendo. And how I've decided to do it, I've taken a whole bunch of notes. I'm just going to read them off. I'm not reading verbatim, but just a guideline of what I want to get to, because there's so much stuff that I want to discuss and cover that I want to have a skeleton so I'm not just rambling on endlessly. So here they are. Okay, the key to Nintendo's E3 2012 presentation is they have to regain control of their own narrative. This is the number one thing that went wrong with the Wii and its current legacy and its current perception. They lost control of the system's narrative. All the other symptoms, like the E3 2008 disaster, the perception that Nintendo abandoned or screwed the hardcore gamer, those are all side effects. But the main problem is that Nintendo lost control of the narrative for Wii. They have to regain control of that, and they even lost control of that for people who want to like Nintendo. And you might have noticed the GameCube, which was widely mocked and ridiculed when it was a current system, its narrative is now of a positive system, the good old days back when Nintendo cared for their hardcore fan base who stuck with them for generations before that. So the narrative of a system can change. Right now, the Wii's narrative isn't strong. They need to break from that and take control of their narrative for Wii U. They need to remind the world that Wii U, despite the criticism and the negative perceptions it has a lot of gamers, it was an undeniable success. It was the most popular platform of the 7th generation. It dominated the 7th generation. And think of it this way. It took 5 years for the GameCube to sell 20 million units. Wii sold more than 10 million units, half of the GameCube's lifetime global sales in 2011 alone. 2011, that was the year that Wii sales were dead in the water, supposedly. That was the year Wii sales were declining. That's the year Wii was dying. And in that year, they sold more than half of the lifetime sales for Nintendo GameCube. So there's no arguing that Nintendo, really for the first time since the mid-90s, Nintendo is not operating from a position of market share weakness entering its next home console cycle. This has not happened since the mid-90s when they were planning Nintendo 64. And Nintendo needs to remind everyone of what it accomplished with Wii and its success with Wii, in spite of all the criticism and negativity. But Nintendo should not spend more than 60 seconds doing this. Nintendo could cover that whole topic in under a minute. They should not spend more than a minute talking about that. And to gain control of that narrative, Nintendo needs to reintroduce themselves to the gaming world. They need to place themselves in the context of the fact that they're the only console manufacturer to have been involved in the video game industry for 35 years, and that they still exist today because they've consistently evolved and adapted and to capture the imaginations of gamers of all different backgrounds and tastes and playstyles from around the world. But Nintendo, they can't do this by relying on nostalgia, because they can't make this a nostalgia play, because there's a large number of gamers now who are now of age, many 18 and up now, who have no context of living at a time when Nintendo had the dominant platform like the Super NES. The first dominant platform since the Super NES, the first widely successful system with unquestionably awesome third-party support, unquestionably popular. There was rival with the Genesis and everything, but it was unquestionably a hardcore, fully successful, fully embraced system. They had not really nailed that since the Super Nintendo. As many great games and experiences, and they were on systems since then. The Wii was the first since then. It was widely dismissed as an underpowered toy by the terminally hardcore, and even the non-Nintendo haters, a lot of them didn't feel that the Wii was a relevant or a cool system that was relevant to their taste due to misconceptions about the Wii and factual shortcomings about the Wii, such as its lack of a robust online experience which the HD systems provided. And Reggie is going to come out like he did at E3 2010, like that, but even more so. And he's going to come out and directly confront some of the criticisms and misconceptions about Nintendo games and systems. And the Wii U system itself, the hardware we're going to see, it's going to be evidently derivative of the Wii. But it's also going to incorporate motifs of earlier Nintendo systems. And it's not literally going to be like one of those modded like Wii's that look like an NES. It's not going to be like that, but it's going to have subtle hints to those older systems, mainly the NES and Super NES, and the Super Famicom and the European Super NES. It's going to be notably different. It's going to be noticeably different from the Wii U console that was shown at E3 2011. And I'm going to tell you, they're going to go out of their way to put this console right at the front and center as like one of the first things we see, because they cannot afford. They know from last year that they have to be explicit about the nature of the system, that it is a home console. It is a set-top box like the Wii, like the Xbox 360, like the PlayStation 3 that you put under your TV, and that is the platform itself. And the controller is just the controller. And I say 80% odds that the name is going to remain Wii U. 80% on that. I do not think they're going to change it at this point. If they wanted to change it, I think they may have changed it beforehand so that them changing it isn't the talk of the show or distracting during the E3 presentation. They may take advantage of that and change the name as a way to generate even more noise and surprise. But I think it's going to stay the same at this point. The on-stage Wii U units, they may be hardlined with a physical cable to prevent an E3 2010 on-stage disaster like the Skyward Sword reveal at E3 2010, where the remotes didn't work due to all the wireless interference, the density of wireless internet connections and cellular connections and Wi-Fi from the audience reporting the news to the world. If Nintendo if they do take the precautionary measure of having a hardline cable tying the tablet to the console, I'm going to tell you, they're going to go to almost cartoonish lengths to emphasize and remind the audience that the real Wii U and the controllers will be completely wireless. Nintendo's not going to take the chance of miscommunicating or undercommunicating this time. This is their one chance. Excuse my dog barking in the background. Okay, Nintendo, they have to leverage the concept of Wii U to the extent that Wii was the system for everyone that brought the whole family, novices, and veteran gamers together. But Wii U is going to be the system built from the ground up to address you. That you being Nintendo addressing the passionate, discriminating veteran gamers watching in the audience on the internet and on cable television and around the world. That's what's going to give the Wii U context and meaning by explicitly addressing the audience who demand more from their game experience than we could provide, and more. It's that this system is going to provide even more than what its eventual competition is going to be able to provide, let alone the systems that are already available today. And Wii U cannot and must not be Nintendo's system for Nintendo games and Nintendo gamers. Wii U, it has to be styled as a new system built by Nintendo to be the ultimate system for all video games and all video gamers, not just Nintendo's games for Nintendo fans and Nintendo players. And because of the Wii U's deliberately low performance, its lack of HD output to keep the system affordable, there are a lot of gamers now who have a deep-seated perception that Nintendo systems always have and always will be underpowered, incapable of providing an experience suited to them. Nintendo executives, Nintendo employees, they read the comment boxes on game blogs and on news sites. They browse the forums. They pay people to browse the forums. Nintendo knows they have to demonstrate that the system is capable and powerful to demonstrate to first and third parties that those games will have great graphics. And Nintendo's main mode of operation for this presentation is going to be shock and awe and surprise. They have to grab the public's attention by showing features and technologies and games that are the complete antithesis of what people have learned to expect from a Nintendo system, while also being quintessentially Nintendo. That's the balancing act Nintendo has to play with this time. And first party, second party, and third party games, they're going to demonstrate an obvious transformation from what characterized the Wii. And I think the first Wii U game Nintendo's going to show at their presentation is either going to be Pikmin 3 or Super Mario 4. I expect that that's a real game. I expect it does exist. Whether it's literally called Super Mario 4 or it's just some sort of major Mario platformer aside from New Super Mario Brothers Me. Mario Brothers Me is going to be there. It's basically going to be used, I think, as try to get a killer app out early on for Wii U as a way to buy time to provide more time to work on Super Mario 4 so they don't have to rush it. But Super Mario 4, it's going to be shown. It's going to be the crux of what this new system is about. It's going to be like how Mario 64 was to Nintendo 64. It's going to be surprising in the way that Mario Galaxy, the way the levels were designed, when you first saw it, it was notably different from any Mario game to come before and many platformers to come before it. At first glance, Super Mario 4, it's going to be quintessentially Mario, but it's going to have to be radically different from any Mario game to come before in a way that only Wii U can make possible. And Retro, we're going to learn what Retro's been up to. Retro will have a major game to announce. At the very least, they're going to announce that there's a major project coming from them. I expect they're going to announce a game, show a game. They may even demonstrate it on stage. It may even be a launch title. I don't expect it to be a launch title, but they're going to show something. And Retro has something else up their sleeve. Retro has something else, something very critical to Nintendo's ambition for Wii U that's still under wraps. It may not even be a video game. But what I will say is that Nintendo's 8th generation gravy train, it's just rolling out the station, and every train needs a powerful engine. Keep that in mind. And I think we're going to see a realistic Nintendo racing game. It's going to be a key example. This realistic racing game is going to be highly customizable, have strong emphasis on online aspects. It's going to be to rival Gran Turismo, to rival Forza. It's going to be a real motorsport simulator, not like a kart racer or an arcade racer like Ridge Racer. It's going to be an example of Nintendo expanding what they're willing to do. I'm going to anticipate BioShock Infinite for Wii U, and I'm going to anticipate Grand Theft Auto 5 for Wii U. And third parties in general, they're going to speak extensively on Wii U. They're either going to do that on stage, or they're going to do it in pre-recorded sizzle reels like we did last year, or a combination of both. And third parties what they're going to state in no uncertain terms that Wii U is fully capable of delivering an experience satisfying to the hardcore gamer of 2012 and beyond. That Wii U is not a stopgap system. It's not Nintendo catching up to where Microsoft and Sony were up to 6 and 7 years ago. That it's going to be a real advance. And Nintendo is going to use... Nintendo, really, they're going to paint themselves as the 30-year champion of game console fun and innovation. But their newest console, they're also going to make clear it's going to be the lodestar of the coming generation, offering everything that gamers of all tastes and all experience levels and backgrounds are going to want at the center of their gaming lives. Nintendo's going to place the Nintendo 3DS in the context of a two-pronged storm surge into the 8th generation, Wii U on one side and 3DS on the other, and that's where they're going to springboard off into discussing Nintendo 3DS. Nintendo has to reestablish, they have to establish and communicate the tremendous success that 3DS has despite its rocky start. There's still a lot of people who they dismissed 3DS the second it had a rocky start, and they still think to this day that 3DS is a failure, that it's just like that it's just negligible, that it's like a non-entity. They have to establish that 3DS is here, it is successful, it is strong and viable and in for the long run. They're going to use 3DS games and applications, not just games, but new features, downloadable stuff, to demonstrate, even in its third appearance at E3, that this system is evolving to push portable gaming in directions no other device is capable of. You're going to be seeing things like using your smartphone to buy Nintendo 3DS eShop games on the fly. You're going to be seeing things like that. And on 3DS, on Wii U, and regarding other platforms, Nintendo's going to forge radical new partnerships of an unprecedented nature. I mean, this stuff never dreamed of before. This prospect is what really stands to have this E3 presentation rock the industry to its core and blow away even the most passionate Nintendo fans' expectation of just what kind of company Nintendo is and what they're willing to do to remain relevant in the 8th generation. And Wii U in general is going to be a double threat system. It's going to be deployed, marketed as both a home console in the traditional sense and as a homebound gaming enhanced tablet. The wireless controller, the tablet-like nature of it's going to give Nintendo and third parties many opportunities to integrate the Wii U into every aspect of its users' gaming and digital lives. It's going to take the wishful thinking attempts at doing this with aspects of the Wii, like the Wii channels, like the Everyone Votes channel, and the news channel, and the weather channel, and the bulletin board. They're going to take those nice ideas and make them really integral to how players react to the system. This tablet, you're basically going to have a tablet that's going to connect every aspect of your digital life to the experience of Wii U and to Nintendo Network. I mean, it's going to integrate through social networks, and really, it's going to be a really seamless environment. And as part of that, Nintendo's going to fully embrace the internet. I mean, you're going to see things like the Personal Trainer series for DS demonstrated as apps for the Wii U, with emphasis on only using the tablet without the TV. You're going to see a robust app store. They're going to embrace the internet. They're going to strive for an online experience to surpass the current HD consoles online experience. And this is going to include utilizing the cloud. It's going to have those LCD equipped gamer cards with StreetPass capabilities and SpotPass, cloud stored game data, My Nintendo accounts. That's all going to be integrated through the player's Mii attached to this so-called gamer card. And the closing message, the narrative of this presentation, from the beginning to the end, it's going to be that the new system is not about Nintendo. It's about you. That's going to be Nintendo's message. The Wii U is not about Nintendo. It's about you, the gamer. It's not a faster drive down the same path of the current HD systems, but it's a trailblazer forging a new road to places gaming has never gone before. That Nintendo's approach isn't to build a new car with better horsepower and a higher top speed to venture down the same old road. The Nintendo way is not to build a car, but to build a spaceship to allow the imaginations of game creators and game players to soar into the stratosphere. That is going to be the hook for Nintendo's E3 2012 presentation. That's it. Throat sore. I've said enough. We'll see if I'm right. See you in 12 days. Thanks for watching.